Dear students, we are discussing about sum of subset problem, subset problem, sum of subset problem. So what is meant by sum of subset problem? You will be having a set, let it be X. It will be like 3, 4, 5, 6 are the elements present. And what we need to do is we will be having a sum value. So I am just denoting it as 9. So what I need to find out is which all are the elements of this list I have to select so that I will be getting the sum of those elements will be as 9. So in this case, you will be getting the value as 3 plus 6 will be giving me the value as 9. Similarly, 4 plus 5 will be also give the value as 9. So I have to find out which all are the elements I have to select from the list. How this will be performing, we will see in the next slide. So mainly we are applying the technique of backtracking. So what is meant by backtracking? We are trying to find out all possible cases of the problem and we are applying the constraint to the problem. What is the constraint or condition for the problem? The sum should be equal to 9. So based on that condition, we are trying to extract the path or all the possibilities and trying to check whether this will be giving me the solution or not. So for that, always as you know, we have to draw the corresponding state space tree. State space tree. So how can I draw the corresponding state space tree? You know, we will be having the initial state. From there, I am including my first element, that is x1. So the left child will be considering for the including the element and right child will be considering for excluding the element. So it means that x1 is included and x1 is not included. When I am including the x1, so initially sum was 0. When I am including x1, my sum will be changing based on whatever the value I have included. So you know the x set is of having the elements as 3, 4, 5, 6 and I am checking for the sum value as 9. So when I am writing x1 is pointing to 3 and x2 is pointing to 4 and x3 is pointing to 5 and x4 is pointing to 6. That are the 4 elements present in the set. So after adding my x1, what will be the total sum? So the first element in the list was taken, so the sum became 3. Now I have two options. One is selecting my next element, that is x2. x2 is 1. So when I added 6 2 with the current sum, I am adding second element also. So the sum become 7. The sum will become as 7. Now the third element I am selecting and I am checking whether that will give me the solution. So x3 is also added as 1. That means along with the 7, I am adding my third element x3, that is 5. So as you know, 7 plus 5 is giving me a value which is greater than 9. So no need of further processing. There itself the branch will be stopping. So that is one case. If like this, if one case was occurred, what is the next solution? I can go back to the previous stage and I can neglect x3, that is by excluding x3, that is like x3 is equal to 0. So here I will be giving the value, whatever the 7 was the original value, that will be retaining. So I will be getting the value as 7 because the third element I didn't add. Then I am trying to add the fourth element and checking whether that will leads to the final solution. That means when I am adding the fourth element, that is x4 is equal to 1, it is means that adding the fourth element. So that is again giving me a value greater than 9, which is not giving the actual path or actual solution. So I can neglect that part also. What about the other path? That is, I am neglecting x4. x4 itself is not adding. So it will give the same value as 7. So this will also not giving me the required answer what I was expecting. So if this path is also end, where can I go back? I can go back to vertex number, the one which was having the weight as 3. And then I can proceed further by neglecting the second element, that is the second element I am just omitting. So it will be retaining the value as 3. And then I am trying to check whether I can include the element or I can exclude the element. Let me keep it little more lengthier. Okay, I will be keeping over here like x3, sorry, 3. 3 is the value we are retaining over there because I didn't include my second element. Then the options are I can include the third element. So when I am including the third element, x3 is equal to 1, which is again giving me the value as 5 plus 3, 8. And even if I am adding the next element, that is 8 plus 6, which is again a not giving to the required solution. So that path is also dead because after that, even if I am adding also, it won't give. So the other option is I can neglect S3. I am neglecting S3. So the whatever the value was there, that 3 will be retaining. Adding the fourth element, that is x4, is equal to 1, which will be giving 6 plus 3, 9, because x4 is the element which was having the value as 6. So this is one promising path. This is one promising path. If I didn't include x4, the value whatever was there, that will be retaining. So that is 3. So this is one path I have find out the solution for the given problem. So what is that path is all about? You can see here the path what I have suggested or selected is from 0 to 3 and then 3 to 3, and this way it was proceeded and we reached vertex number 9. So I got the summation value as 9. So which all are the elements I included? That will be based on the x1, x2, x3 value. So I can make a solution array. So it will be denoted as S. It will be having entries for each entry. So S1 I have selected, so the value will be 1. X2 I didn't select, so it will be 0. What about x3? x3 I didn't select, so that will also be 0. And x4 is selected, so the value will be 1. So it means the first element and the last element I have selected, which was giving me the value as 9. Similarly, I can proceed the other branch also. I will be getting the other solution like 5 and 4 in the other path because the first element is not selected. That was this particular path. So 0 will be retaining. And again, left child, right child, I can draw it and I can easily find out what the other path which was giving me the value as 9. So here when we are looking into this particular path, you can see two cases. One is the summation value is greater than the sum what I am searching there, the process will be stopping. And the other case is I was not able to find out any further elements to add up to the current sum to reach the further value what I am searching is 9. So some summation will be end up with a smaller value and other will be going as the greater value. If no further elements, that stage also will be stopping. If the total summation is greater than the expected value, that will also not further proceed. Otherwise, if the value, the total current summation is a smaller value than the required value, then the process will be continuing. Then the process will be continuing. So this is the basic idea of backtracking approach for finding the sum of subset problem. So for the exam, you can expect this particular question as well as its corresponding state space tree, drawing the corresponding state space tree. Okay. So this will be having the other branch also. So please try to draw the other part. Now we will see about the implementation of the same. So here one easiest method I was followed. The easiest method is you can follow a stack and you can keep the elements into the stack. If the path we are selecting means the element will be putting into the stack, and every time we are checking the content of the stack whether it will be giving me the answer as 9 or not. If it is not giving the answer as 9, I am popping the element out of it. So in that particular way, I was trying to solve this problem and I felt that is quite easy one. So based on what condition we are selecting whether the branch should further divide or not, it is called as branching condition or bounding condition. Okay. One more case is there. For example, and also you can notice like the elements arranged in the set are in the increasing order. That is a precondition for the problem. So the elements whatever we are having should be in the increasing order. And next point what I want to mention is, in case if the first element is itself is larger than the sum what I am searching. So for example, look into the X where I am having the elements as, look in the X where I am having the elements are 20, 85, 99, 100, and I am searching for the sum of 15. So immediately you will be get to know by looking into the first element itself, the sum value, whatever I am searching is a smaller value. So no need of any of the element for further checking whether the sum should be equal to 15 or not. That is also one condition. And we are having the assumptions that elements are arranged in the increasing order. Okay. Next is about the implementation. So I already mentioned that is the best and easiest way of doing the same. So I will show the code for the same, and it is a very simple code. We will just look into it. So this is the code. Maybe most of you are not familiar with the strategy of stack. So we will see how the stack will be working and how can you use a stack by default. So you will be having a stack like this. So java.util.stack is a already by default you can create a stack from this. So util package will be having a stack, so you can directly use it. Other than that, you are having a class called a subset, which was having a set as well as sum and solution set and has solution. These are the variables present. So a class called a subset will be having an array and an integer variable and a boolean variable and a stack. So when we are going into the subset problem, so the constructor of the subset class is asking for the set, that was the input we are giving, and sum is the value what I am. Sum is the variable what I am searching. So when I am doing this process, I can see like when I am creating a constructor for the class, the subset function will be calling and it will be assigning with whatever the set I am having and what is the sum value I am searching for, and it is creating the stack over here. And while creating, I don't know whether you have seen about the generic expressions. So stack is a data structure. It can store any type of data in that. But any type of data means all the entries, whenever I am using it as an integer stack, it should contain only integer value. But even I can store strings also inside that. So I can mention what is the parameter I can keep it inside. So here it was mentioned like integer. It was showing like the stack will be containing only integer value. So here we created the stack object which was actually originally present in the utility package. And in case if you couldn't able to find out the solution, that means the summation value what you are searching is not able to find out. In that case, we are just keeping a flag variable in the initially we are assigning it with as false. Whenever you could get a value of or summation value as 9 in the example what we were having, the has solution boolean variable will be changing to true. Okay, let me explain from the main. So this is the main class. You will be having two different classes. So main class. So there it was given hard coded with a set value as well as a size value. So size is the parameter which is mentioning like what is the sum I am searching for, and set is the set of elements whatever I am having. And then I am calling the subset class object, or I am creating the object of the subset class. So that was the class name, the first class what I was having. It was of subset class. So I am creating the object of it and I am calling the solve function with 0, 0 as the value. And if ss dot has solution is ss is the object of the subset class. If the has solution variable is having the value false, it means you could not able to find. As solution variable is having the value false means you could not able to find out a solution for the same. Otherwise, it will be having or it will be generating a solution. It is of type. It is of type. Otherwise, you will be printing the solution. Okay, so the entire logic is inside the solve function. We will move into what is happening in the solve function. We'll directly move into it. I have referred many codes and I find out this is the easiest one. That's why, and it is also make sure that you are getting an idea about a stack is a predefined data structure is already available in that format itself in Java. So I felt this is quite easy for implementation aspect as well as even code also. It was really easy. So I was just preferring this code. Multiple, you can even refer other ways of solving the same problem. But I prefer this one. So public void solve int s int idx. So solve function was transferring with a 0 and idx is the value whatever I am having, that is also 0. So initially the sum was 0. So when I am checking, when s is greater than sum, that means s is the current sum value. Initially it was 0, we have transferred 0. If the current sum is greater than the sum what I am searching, you can directly return. That is the first case. If the current sum is equal to the sum whatever I am searching, then I got the solution actually. So I can keep the has solution variable, that was the boolean variable I set as false in the beginning, will be changing to true. And also I know when I got a solution, definitely I have to print what is the solution. So I am calling another function and returning from the function. That is the all working of the solve function. So now the logic will be going to how should I display the solution. And the solve function, the first case and second case is over. We'll be moving into the third case. So what is the third case? In between, I just left with what is the display function is doing. So there actually the logic will be coming here. You can see from set dot length will be giving how many elements are present in the set. And from the first element, that is the 0th index onwards till the last index, we are putting the element one by one to the solution set. What is solution set? That was the name of the stack we created. You can see here the name of the stack is solution set. So you can insert or push the element of the set I. Set I is the set or the array or the set what we were having. Inside that one by one element we are taking it and putting into the stack. And checking whether S plus set of I, the current element and whatever was the sum of S, the previous sum, if both the things are together, will be transferring, and one more element of this we have added, that is initially it was I was 0 and now I plus 1 has increased. That means one element has already pushed into the stack. This is again recursively calling the solve function. So what all are the things solve function will do? When I added the first element along with the current sum and one more element is added, so I is just an indicator to mention like how many elements are currently added into the stack. So S plus set of I will be coming as the current S value. That means the current sum. Checking both the condition, whether it is greater than the current sum, the sum what I am searching, or whether it is matching with the sum. So if any of these conditions satisfies, actually we are returning from the function. You can see both the case we will be returning. Otherwise, we are again coming into the next for loop. In the for loop again, I am started. Now the idx value was I plus 1 because I called the solve function. And again, the next element will be pushing into the stack and checking whether the sum is greater than or not. In case if the value is greater, it will be returning from that particular recursive call. So the control will be moving into the solution set dot pop. So if the value is greater than the expected sum, the inserted element will be popping off from the stack. So this is the logic. So once again I will tell, if the first element will be adding into the solution stack and pushing that element into the stack and checking two conditions. What are the conditions? Whether it is greater than the expected sum, then definitely I need not worry anything. I can just leave it. Otherwise, if it is matching, I should change the hash solution variable, and also I have to make the display solution set. I should call a function to just display what all are the elements I have selected. If any of that cases are satisfied, it will be returning back and the elements will be pop out from the stack. Now, I have to see what is the content of the display solution set. It was just popping out the elements from the stack and displaying it. So that's all. From integer item, so this is another form. I think you may have studied about the for each format of the for loop. So there, the elements of the solution set one by one will be taken and it will be assigning to item variable, and that will be printing. That means the content of the solution set, that is the current content of the stack, will be taken out and it will be printing. So that is the final solution of the display function. We could able to find out the function over here. So we have called when we were having a sum value which is matching with the current sum, is matching with the expected sum value. Then we are calling the display function. Display function is just outputting what is the current content of the stack. That's all about today's session. I will just run this and execute and show you. You can see here the values was given as 3 plus 6 and 4 plus 5. So this is the problem we have solved in the class. Even you can randomly give any other input and check whether it is better if you can read the data from the user. But logic anyway, this is the easiest logic I have seen. We'll keep anything else and we'll try. 10, 20, 30. 30 will keep. And we'll try what will be the solution we'll be getting for the problem. Okay, this is the value I got it. It was like 10, 5, 15. Yeah, altogether it is 30, and 10 plus 20, and 7 plus 5 plus 18, 18 plus 12. So these are the possible cases of getting the value as 30 as the sum. So all the four cases has displayed over here as the solution. So like that, you can find out the solution for the same. Okay, thank you all. Thank you for the same. Thank you. Thank you all.